In today's video, we'll be giving you 5 quick and easy tips that can instantly be implemented in order to boost your win rate right away. What's going on, guys? It's your host Sergeant Frost, and today we'll be bringing you a simple guide with easy to implement tips that'll certainly make you win more games. All of these tips are designed so that you can implement them today with very little effort. And of course, if you want someone else to help you improve, you could visit us at our website ProGuides.com, where our Radiant and Immortal level coaches are always ready to help you level up your play. The link is in the description, and without further ado, let's get into the video. The first thing you gotta get right is settings, because it's literally as easy as spending a couple minutes configuring and then you can reap the benefits without ever having to worry about it again. Now of course, settings definitely aren't gonna make you go from silver to diamond in a matter of days, but in a way it's kind of like playing with a bad mouse. If you have a mouse with terrible tracking, it doesn't mean that you can't aim well, but it does mean you're limiting yourself. One of these settings is your radar. Just making it so that your radar is configured properly doesn't mean that you'll be able to use it well, but it will set you up for the future. For radar, to some extent, it's personal preference, but one thing you should definitely turn off is keep players centered. Having this on essentially just makes the radar center around you, but you need to understand, Valorant doesn't revolve around you, so you shouldn't be self-centered, nor should your radar. It's quite beneficial to be able to see what your teammates see or are doing, especially if they're on the other side of the map. And I know what some of you are thinking, but well, if my C player spots an enemy, he should just communicate that. And while you're absolutely right, it won't mean they're actually going to end up doing it. Even in Immortal, it's all too common to see people go completely no comm. But if you want to win more games than the average person and rank up, you'll have to be able to notice information yourself at times. Another setting that's just objectively better is going into controls, then equipment, and turning on don't auto-equip melee. When do you ever want to auto-equip melee after you use your ability? That's right, never. Don't get yourself into the mess of throwing your utility only to peek with your knife out. Then under general, also turn on always show inventory, which basically makes sure that you're always able to see what guns you have. No more walking over guns on accident, only to then be confused where the enemy's weapon went. Another setting in this category is bloom in the video settings. Bloom makes light sources light up more. Your skins are more shiny, which is obviously a huge advantage in itself, but it also has an added bonus of making player outlines a lot brighter for even things like Sova darts. In my opinion, this setting is a great one to have on, although it does cost a bit of FPS. So if you have a few spare FPS to lose, then it would be great to have on. And then lastly, a great setting that I think anyone on a stable connection and good system should have disabled is instability indicators. Instability indicators tell you whenever there's an issue. Maybe your ping is high, maybe you're getting a high loss, maybe your FPS is down the drain. Unfortunately, it's kind of inaccurate at times and might mess with your play. So it's usually better to take that setting off and focus more on the game, even though it would be smart to see if you have high ping and change your play being aware of it. The costs outweigh the benefits in my opinion, and it sends a lot of false alarms too. Before we move on with our second tip, we should quickly get to our question of the day. Today's question being, what is your favorite enemy outline color? Personally, mine is purple. It stands out really good against the background, and that's what I've been using for years now. Let us know what your favorite enemy outline color is in the comment section down below. Now, let's get right back into the video. The second thing you should do to instantly improve your win rate is to change your approach in communicating to teammates. I'm sure we all understand that good vibes are important, which means that it's in your best interest to maintain good vibes throughout a game. One thing that people often do that definitely ruins it, even if there are good intentions, is pointing out mistakes. You're not going to turn your bottom fragger into a godlike player by telling them that they don't understand how to play their agent, or even just telling them that they're doing things wrong. It'll only result in them getting annoyed, defensive, and upset, and it completely ruins the vibe for everyone. You can occasionally get away with a bit of advice, but only if you do it in a really roundabout way without actually referencing the mistake. The best way you can probably do this is by proposing a new specific plan to your teammates, while completely avoiding the topic of previous rounds or mistakes made then. In one Fracture game I played recently, I suggested to my team, hey guys, can we maybe try going fast A, Reyna can you flash here and here, marking close right and deep main on the map. Then I'll stim and smoke this and that. I did not mention how 2 rounds before, the flashes he threw totally cost us the round, and it made so 2 players died to chamber AWPing. And as a result, we're going to be able to avoid getting AWP the next time and have a better chance of winning the round without anyone getting called out. Number 3, make sure to show up every day. Valorant is a game that takes a long time to master, and there's plenty of things you can do to optimize your practice and speed up your improvement. Having a good aim playlist on AimLab is great. Always having something to work and focus on when you play ranked or unrated does numbers. And watching YouTube guides like this one can help as well. You can book coaching sessions if you feel stuck, don't know what to work on, or if you just want to make sure you're on the right track. But for most people, doing all these things is very time consuming and might not be a very fun thing to do at any given moment. For a lot of players, motivation comes and goes. One day you're really motivated, so you practice for 2 hours, and then play 6 hours of ranked. And on other days, you barely get out of bed since you're watching too much TikTok. That's why one of the best things you can do to continue to improve is to at least show up to play every day. And what I mean by that is boot up the game and hop in the range. There's no rules, you can hop around for 2 minutes and close the game up afterwards. But just hop on and see where you go from there. By doing this, you make sure you stay familiar with the game on days you might not have planned to play otherwise. And more often than not, you can stay on for longer than those 2 minutes. Maybe you spend 5 minutes shooting bots. Maybe you end up playing a deathmatch. Sometimes you might just end up playing a ranked game or two as well. It's not important how much you spend at the end of the day, but Valorant is a game of repetition, and even just spending 10 minutes extra when you otherwise wouldn't can make a big difference over time. So just hop on, enter the range, and do whatever you want afterwards, and you'll start noticing yourself improve so much more consistently. 4. Learn 1 or 2 setups and plays on your favorite agents. That way you can always fall back on. Sometimes Valorant can be a difficult game. There's a lot of adaptation, and at times it can feel like nothing is really working. Maybe you don't know what to do, or maybe you're just having a terrible time and you feel completely out of it. For times like these, it's incredibly helpful to have 1 or 2 plays on both sides that you are 100% comfortable with, and you can execute without even having to think about. Of course, no setup or play is perfect, as if there was, then the game would be solved. But at least having a play that you're comfortable with when it feels like nothing is going right is super helpful. In a way, it serves like a complete mental reset. When you're having a bad game and you're getting a bit lost in the sauce, fall back on your default play. If you don't have a favorite play yet, watch some pro games or good player streams and see what they do. Make sure you find something on every map, and you should see your performance drastically increase. And lastly, number 5, unless you have a very strong understanding of the Valorant economy and how it works normally, and what are good situational buys, just take it easy and simplify it yourself by always buying with your team. There are situations when going for a hero buy is good, and there will always be times when all your teammates don't buy when you should probably be buying. But at the end of the day, your best chances of winning a round comes from everyone having a gun and buying as a team. Don't really worry about what the correct buy is all the time. Look at what your team does and join in. If they're buying, then buy with them. If they're saving for the next round, then you should do the same. Don't get into situations where your full team is able to buy and you're awkwardly waiting for a teammate to die so you can pick up their gun. All in all, there will be times where your team buys incorrectly. But even then, buying together as a team is a much better idea than having the entire team being on different economies throughout the game. And that wraps it up for our 5 easy fixes to help you get more wins. Make sure to implement these tips, and thanks for watching and staying all the way till the end. It's been Sergeant Frost, and I'll see you all again in the next video.